Now, let us look at this branch of philosophy which is called logic. Logic is the study of reasoning or thinking. So it is all about arguments. In philosophy, we have several arguments. In logic, we have several arguments. For example, deductive argument and non-deductive argument. Under deductive argument, we have valid and invalid. Under valid also we have sound argument and unsound argument. Under invalid deductive argument, it is obvious we will have unsound argument. On the other side, when you look at non-deductive argument, others may call it inductive or abductive. Here we look at several also. We have a very strong non-deductive argument and a weak non-deductive argument. Under a strong non-deductive argument, we have congent and uncongent. And in a weak non-deductive argument, it is obvious and congent. Then I have analyzed to you several types of arguments in logic. So let me take this opportunity to give you several examples that will help you to understand this argument under logic. Let's start from deductive argument. In deductive argument, first and foremost, it's a process of reasoning from one or more statements or premises to reach a certain logical conclusion. That's the meaning of deductive reasoning or argument. We'll start giving you example of valid deductive argument. Look at this example, and in each and every example that I will be using, we will be having premises. Premises are like parts of the sentences which will give us conclusion at the end. It is just like statement. Two statements, then number 3 will have a conclusion. Look at this example. Premise 1. All dogs have 4 legs. Premise 2. John's pet is a dog. Then number 3 is a conclusion. We say John's pet has 4 legs. That's an example of valid deductive argument, and obvious it is sound because it makes sense. Now let me give you an example of unsound valid deductive argument. Look at this. Everyone who eats berries is healthy. That is premise 1. Then premise 2. Matthew eats berries. Therefore, Matthew is healthy. That's unsound deductive argument, because a person can eat berries but he or she cannot be healthy, and its conclusion it has given us that Matthew is healthy. So that's very unsound valid deductive argument. Look at this example of invalid argument now. Premise 1. If it is raining, then the streets are wet. The streets are wet. That's conclusion. The streets are wet. That is invalid argument, because you cannot guarantee that the streets are wet just because it is raining. So that's an example of invalid deductive argument, which is obvious and sound it does not make a good sense. Its conclusion, it will be fake. Now, on the other hand, let us look about non-deductive argument. First and foremost, non-deductive argument, it is an argument with premises that do not guarantee the truth of the conclusion, meaning its premises will never guarantee you the truthness of the conclusion. And remember, I told you in non-deductive argument, we will be having strong and weak. Look at this example of a strong non-deductive argument. It is cloudy today, so there is a high probability that it will rain today. That's a very strong non-deductive argument. Why? Because its premises has not guaranteed us the truthness of the conclusion. Yeah. So look at this example of weak non-deductive argument. It is weak. Now, Lynette is a woman. Some women like poetry. Therefore,